Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a wedding card that I have created and it is again super simple. This is a really cool die that I got in not long ago and I showed it in a little haul video, and I was kind of desperate to use this one. So I have a piece of black paper, an 80-pound piece of Nina Solar White and a 110-pound card base of Nina Solar White as well. This little piece of black paper I am just going to use to create a matte layer. So I'm just cutting off a teeny tiny bit of each one, and then I will make this 80-pound one card front ever so slightly smaller than the black one. So the card itself measures 4¼ by 5½, and this is the alphabet stamp set that I'm going to use to create the Mr. and Mrs. It also has a tiny little and word that I'm going to use as well. I have a little grid lines mat there that I'm using to line it up on my mini Misty, and obviously I'm going to have Mr. up the top, and I'm just going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This is a pigment ink and it stamps super black and super dark, which I love. So then I'm going to separately stamp the and I couldn't stamp these all together just because they didn't quite fit as close as I wanted them to be, so separate it is. And then just add an S on and I have a Mrs. You could make this card any which way you want. Obviously it could be a Mr. and Mr. or a Mrs. and Mrs. Or you could just change it up altogether and make it a really simple black and white happy birthday card or happy anniversary card. Yeah, really super simple. So I'm just cutting a little bit more off here. I have to cut off all four sides to make sure that the words in the middle are still centered. So I just need to cut a teeny tiny bit off each side, and now it fits perfectly. With this die, I used some of this foam packaging. Now there is thick stuff and there is thin stuff. It does not matter. I get this, often my dies come from AliExpress wrapped in this, and I just cut it into roughly 4¼ by 5½-inch pieces and store it in my little craft space. It is fantastic for cutting intricate dies. So I have cut out 6 of these things, and there's already 3 here that you can kind of see. Now the edges aren't glued down super well because I'm going to end up cutting the edges right off, so that doesn't matter. I just have some liquid glue that I'm going to use here, and I actually don't have any, but spray adhesive would work really well here as well. That's something I've been meaning to try out as well. So I'll put that on my little to try list. But anyhow, I'm using liquid glue for this one, and I'm just adhering down all 3 layers. I had actually cut the sides off this one already, so that one's going in the middle. It doesn't matter, you won't end up seeing it, and I'll actually end up cutting off quite a bit of these anyway. So then add more glue and then add the next layer, and they're really easy to line up, obviously, and then I kind of just let them dry for a little bit and they're good to go. So now you can see how this card is shaping up. I kind of want it to be, the words in the middle to be enclosed by the pattern at the top and the bottom. So as I said, it's really, the world is your oyster as to what you put in the middle here. And again, when it comes to adhering this down, I'm going to use liquid glue, and I do start by doing it this way. However, I end up changing my mind and I just put a blob of liquid glue onto the back of a makeup sponge, and this way I get much better coverage, no leaking up the sides. So I just kind of squirt a bit down and then dab it around, and you're able to cover the back of your intricate dies really easily and nice and evenly. So I actually don't need to do the whole thing. As I said, I'm going to be cutting quite a bit of it off in the end. So just put it on and then press it down and it grabs nice and quickly. I want to roughly get them even, so I am kind of taking note of where the sides of the die and the top of the die, there's kind of like a little mini upside down heart that I have that I'm using as a reference point in the bottom there, so it's hard for you guys to see, but I've lined them up so that they're nice and even. Then I'm just using my large Tim Holtz scissors to cut off all the excess of the card. As I said, there's quite a bit of wastage, and that's just how it is. I hadn't planned this card before I started or how much would be showing or anything, so that's okay. Things evolve as I am card making. They are constantly evolving. So I quite like how that looks. It's quite a wee lacy look. And then with I did think I might try it without the black matte layer. So here you can see I'm going back and forward with the layer, without the layer, with the layer. But anyway, I ended up doing exactly the same trick just because I had the makeup sponge and the paper there. I'm just going to sponge on some glue onto the back of my main piece and then adhere it down to this black matte. This card is pretty simple, and I must say I really like the look of it. This is again one of those favorite cards where it ends up looking really good and liking the look of it. And so I did make a couple more, and I actually ended up using some gold embossing powder and things for the sentiment in the middle. Anyhow, I have this little stamp set here that has the congratulations in the middle, and I have actually sent this card away to some relatives that were getting married, so I wanted to have the congratulations stamp in the middle, and that finishes it all off. So that's the card for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this card, and I hope that you can give it a go. I will leave links down in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.